Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we have a special show with regards to the martyrdom of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel alayhi salam. And before we start the program, I'd like to introduce our special guests. They're known as the Hashim sisters, Maham Sania and Adia Hashim. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you very much.
My name is Sayyida Saira, and with that we can begin the show. So today, as I said, it's about Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel alayhi salam. And as we know, he was the cousin of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and he was given a special mission before Karbala. And that was to send the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam to Kufa in Iraq. So why Kufa? The whole tragedy of Karbala happened in Karbala. So where does Kufa fit into this? Well, the people of Kufa had written thousands of letters to Imam Hussein alayhi salam asking him to come to Kufa. They were ready for him. They wanted him to come. In the same way that we send our arizas to Imam Zaman alayhi salam every year saying, Ajlah ta'ala fartak, saying, we want you to come, Mawla. We're ready for you. We're ready to help you. We're ready to help you with your mission. It was that kind of those kind of letters, and they were in their thousands and millions. So obviously Imam Hussein alayhi salam was the Imam of the time. It was his duty and his responsibility to respond to what the people were asking of him. So he sent, as he was on his way to Hajj, he sent Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel alayhi salam as his representative to Kufa. Now what happened there was initially Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel had a very good response from the people. People in their thousands gathered together to support him and said, we're ready to fight the regime with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. We want change, we want a new world, we want a new order. A new system. But as Ibn Ziyad took over, he used very cunning tactics to either killed off all the supporters, or he deceived them, or he bribed them to let go of their support of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And that is a very relevant issue to us today, because we also send arizas to Imam Zamana in the same way the people of Kufa did. And we pledge our sincerity, and I'm talking about myself first. But when the Imam comes, and it comes to, if somebody threatens us with taking the lives of our family.
Are we going to be with the Imam?
Exactly. Or if somebody offers us the wealth of the world, are we going to turn that down?
Yes.
Do we have that faith? And this is, I think, something that, we can maybe think about throughout the show and even afterwards. And maybe this is a point of revolution within us this Muharram.
Exactly.
Because Muharram, I feel, is like, in the English calendar you have New Year resolutions with the beginning of a new year. For us, Muharram is the new year, and what a beautiful new year to start our year with the Gham of Hussein, the reason for which we were created, to start our year with this. But let's carry on with the topic at the moment. So Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam, at first he had a lot of supporters, and then the support with it as time went on, and then it got to a point where there was nobody left with him. And we often talk about the tragedy of Karbala, but we forget, sometimes we don't give enough importance to what happened before Karbala in Kufa. The tragedy of Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam is something quite unique, because all of the ashabs of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala, they all had Imam Hussein alayhi salam there in their last moments to comfort them, to give them the glad tidings of Jannat, of his mother, Sayyida Salaamullah alayha, being happy with them. But Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel was one of the only, apart from his sons, he was the only ashab, and he is no less than a martyr of Karbala.
He is.
He is. And his tanhai, his loneliness, his destitute is something of a great tragedy. And alongside that, he had his two young sons with him. So Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel alayhi salam, obviously the ashabs or the cousins of Imam Hussein alayhi salam don't have ilm ghaib. He went there and he went with the intention of gathering support for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So he took his two young sons with him. He didn't perceive a threat, and why should he have, when 1,000 letters had come or more from the people of Kufa of support. So he took his two young sons with him, and just, a father's heart for his child. There are no words to express the worry. You know, your child. I'll give the example of myself. You know, if my mother calls me on my phone and I don't pick it up, she'll start worry, and the thoughts that go through her head in that hour that I don't pick up. You know, to know that your sons, what the fate that awaits them, and to have that in your heart in your last moments. And even then, when Hazrat Muslim Aqeel alayhi salam was in his last moments and he was given his final death wish, in the Arab culture and customs, they had like a code of honor, and amongst that was that in your dying moments, whatever the dying person asks for, you grant it to them. So when Hazrat Muslim Aqeel alayhi salam was asked what his dying wish was, he could have asked for the protection of his sons. He could have. But where was his heart? His heart was Imam Hussain alayhi salam. He said, please somebody tell Imam Hussain alayhi salam not to come to Kufa, because they're not going to help him. He's going to be alone. This is the love for Imam Hussain alayhi salam. This is true bay'ah. You know, what we say, we love our Imam, we want him to come. If we know our children are in danger, and the Imam is in danger, and we have only one wish, we only have one sentence in which we can only ask for one safety, we need to look within ourselves, you know, whose love are we going to put first? And on that note, if you have, you obviously Noha Khans, mashallah, the Hashim sisters, they're pioneering in the fact, and I don't mean to do, you know, your ta'reef in front of you, but this is not their praise, because what they do is a gift from Bibi Sayyidah salamu alayha, and the honor is that Bibi chose them. Alhamdulillah. And mashallah, you know, they're doing an amazing job, and they're really fulfilling our purpose in life, which is not to get a certain degree, not to do this, you should do these things, but your ultimate maqsad, your ultimate purpose in life, that should override everything else, is the azadari of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So on that note, if you could recite a noha or something with regards to Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam's sons, please.
Can I just say, Sarah, you were just talking right now, and my heart was crying. I can't even explain your words, how powerful they were, in that today we are commemorating the Shahadat of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel and his sons, who were the shaheed of, this is where the agha, this is where the beginning, the start of Karbala has already taken place, the start of the tragedy of Karbala. In these days, every household, everywhere we go, everybody is preparing for the coming of Muharram, and everybody is waiting with so much impatience for just Muharram to come, so we can start spreading the first Shaza in our houses, so Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra can come and she can take what she wants. She can take the tears that we shed for Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his companions and his sons and his children and his sister and his daughters who were by his side every second during the tragedy of Karbala. And with that, we will inshallah recite a noha on the two young sons of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel. Now, when I think of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel's children, automatically my heart takes me to Sayyidah Zainab's two young sons, On and Muhammad. And I don't know why, ever since I was a child, the first noha I wrote was on Hazrat On and Muhammad. And these two children, these two amazing children who gave their lives for the cause of Imam Hussain, and they weren't scared at all. Of course they were scared in that they were alone.
They weren't scared of death.
They weren't scared of death. Just like Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam said, you know, there's nothing sweeter than death, you know. So inshallah we will begin. If we can have a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
बिछड़े सफर में ऐसे मुस्लिम के पिसर दोनों, बिछड़े सफर में ऐसे मुस्लिम के पिसर दोनों, تھے لخت جگر دونوں، تھے لخت جگر دونوں، تھے نور نظر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، جب قتل ہوئے مسلم کوفے کی فضاؤں میں، خون ابو طالب کی خوشبو تھی ہواؤں میں، پیچھے تھی اجل ان کے، پیچھے تھی اجل ان کے، جاتے تھے جدھر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، پچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، سائے سے بھی ڈرتے تھے، سورج سے بھی چھپتے تھے، ظالم تھا تعاقب میں اس واسطے سہمے تھے، جب ڈھونڈنے پھرتے تھے، جب ڈھونڈنے پھرتے تھے اپنا کوئی گھر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، غربت تھی یتیمی تھی، بچے تھے مسافر تھے، خلاق دو عالم کے درگاہ میں حاضر تھے، تھی ذات خدا سر پہ، تھی ذات خدا سر پہ، بے گھر تھے مگر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر جونوں، جاتے تو کہاں جاتے واقف نہ تھے رستوں سے، دریا کی طرح آنسو بہتے رہے اشکوں سے، قدرت کے بھروسے پہ، قدرت کے بھروسے پہ کرتے تھے سفر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، پتا بھی کھڑکتا تو وہ ناد علی پڑھتے، مجبور تھے بے قصتے، کرتے بھی تو کیا کرتے، رکھ دیتے تھے گھبرا کے، رکھ دیتے تھے گھبرا کے، سجدے میں وہ سر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، ایک چھپنے کی جا پائی قسمت یہ کہاں لائی، کرتا تھا دعا ہر دم بھائی کے لیے بھائی، قسمت سے چھپے جا کے، قسمت سے چھپے جا کے، قاتل کے ہی گھر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں ایسے مسلم کے پسر دونوں، بچھڑے سفر میں दोनों दरिया से इन्हें लाके जालिम ने इन्हें मारा मासूमों की गर्दन थी और खून का फव्वारा रेहान जुदा फिर भी रेहान जुदा फिर भी आए ना नजर दोनों बिछड़े सफर में ऐसे मुस्लिम के पिसर दोनों अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला
محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Back to what you were saying before you started the Noha, that they weren't afraid. And in the Noha, you said they were afraid. I wanted for us to clarify that, is that the children of the Ahlul Bayt, they are never afraid of death.
Exactly, yes.
Why? Because they have yaqeen in the next life. And they have yaqeen that they're on the right path and this is not it. Because as humans we fear the unknown. For them death is not the unknown. But what we forget is that they may be children of the Ahlul Bayt, but they're children.
They are children.
They have the hearts of children. They have maybe, they have, mashallah, Allah has gifted them with the intellect and maybe they might not have the minds of children. But they have the hearts of children. So when we think of Bibi Sakina alayhi salam, and we think of her as a 3-year-old child or a 5-year-old child, yes, she wasn't afraid of death, but she was still a little girl. And so for people to, why don't, some people object to us saying in Nohe or, when we're talking about what happened, they object, but they were of the Ahlul Bayt. Like Bibi Zainab, don't say Bibi Zainab said this because she was of the Ahlul Bayt. But Allah has made them human for a reason. They still had the human emotions.
And it invokes our emotions.
Exactly.
Because we can relate to a child, a 3-year-old child. When we think of a 3-year-old child, so many of us will have sisters, daughters, that we can put ourselves into that position and think, if this 3-year-old was over there at this time, what would this 3-year-old be going through? When someone in our family passes away, when they're a little child, how do we feel? They're children at the end of the day. Children are masoom. These are masoom gharane. This was a masoom household, a holy household, a pure household. But like you said, we need to remember that it was the most painful, that our Rasul Khuda, peace be upon him and his family, shed tears. Rasul Khuda would not shed tears for any small thing. It's impossible.
Exactly.
This was the biggest musibah that even the Anbiya, the Awliya, the Rasul Khuda, all the Imams, our Imam Zamana till today, he sheds tears of blood and he weeps in Ziyarat-e-Nahiya. When we read Ziyarat-e-Nahiya, we see Imam Zamana's complaints, we see his pain, we hear his pain, and we think, how difficult must it be for Imam Zamana as well?
Subhanallah, I just thought of something, and it's not me. I feel like this is meant to be said. Okay?
Everything that we say at this moment,
in relation to Azadai, everything is not from us.
It is a blessing.
It's not, because it's of such a high caliber. It's of such importance. Okay? Our minds, we are so limited. We cannot come up with these things.
Exactly.
And the objection is, why do you still cry for Karbala? Years on. How many years? 1400 years, if not more? Why do we still cry? And what Maham just said, Rasulullah cried for it. When did Rasulullah cry for it? Before it happened.
Before it even happened.
So if it can be cried for before it's happened, why after it's happened should we not cry for it?
Exactly. And there is also, I'm not remembering exactly the correct, I don't remember which prophet, but a prophet, as he passed, long before Karbala even took place, as he passed the land of Karbala, at that time he shed tears. And when he was asked by his companion, why are you shedding tears? He says, he told them that, over here, Hussein will be martyred. So even before the skies were crying, the prophets were crying, Alim Arwah, and when our souls were gathered, and that's the day when we said we gave our pledge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we gave our pledge to Rasul Khuda, that yes, we are the ones who will be weeping for Imam Hussein. From that day, the Farsh Farshi Azar was spread in front of Allah, with Allah. We were there. We were saying, yes, we will cry for Imam Hussein. Imam Zain al-Abidin, everybody was there at that time. All the Masoom were there. They were present. They were all there. They were all saying, Labbaik ya Hussein, Labbaik ya Hussein, until today. And mashallah, in the recent years, you see in Karbala, the amount of people that are there saying Labbaik ya Hussein, Labbaik ya Hussein. This is only a way for us. We are lucky as well that this is our sukoon, it's our peace. We get peace from this zikr, from these gatherings, from this crying. This crying is not crying like, for example, if somebody in our family passes away. Now we cry a lot. We cry for a month, we cry for a year, we cry for maybe 2 years, but we don't cry continuously. We don't cry 40, so it's not the same pain we feel.
It's not
because
to the same extent.
It's not the same extent. But we cry for these people because I think what these people that object to the crying of the majalis and the crying of the Gham Hussein and the zikr of Karbala, they forget that we are not crying for anybody but the grandson of the Prophet and his family. It is not some usual man that we are crying for. It's not some usual battle that took place and we are remembering and we're crying. No, this is beyond that. This is the most tragic moment for us and for it should be for every Muslim who believes in the Prophet.
Would you agree that this is a sunnah of the Prophet?
Of course.
Because and the first time that the notion of azadari emerged formally in our fiqh, in our religion, was when the day Imam Hussein was born. When Rasulullah, and I know you have a noha, you have a lamentation about this, where Bibi Fatima sallallahu alayha asked her father, for what do you cry, father? A son has just been born in my house. Why are you upset? Rasulullah was crying then for Karbala. That's when this sunnah started.
Exactly.
So as Muslims, if we want to fulfill the sunnah of Rasulullah, azadari is a huge part of it.
Exactly.
And not only of our Prophet, it's Prophet Adam. When Prophet Adam was looking for Bibi Hawa on this earth, he went past Karbala and he said to Allah, what is this place? My heart feels very sad here. I feel a lot of gham here. What is this place?
Exactly.
And Allah said, this is Karbala, where Hussein will be martyred.
We see that every prophet, not every prophet, but whoever passed the land of Karbala, whenever they did, all faced calamities. We see that Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, when he passed Karbala in his ship started trembling and thunder and lightning. Every single prophet, Anbiya, Awliya, whoever passed that land always faced calamities. It's just, this azadari starting from way back. They all had to stop and they all had to acquire, what is this land, why is this happening? Everyone knew from before everything about the land.
Because Allah wants this azadari to be carried on.
Exactly.
And just a relevant point here, we're in October, and October is Black History Month. And the people with the African origin, every single year, they remember what happened to their forefathers, how they were, they had zulm done to them, they were oppressed. And every year they remember, why is this? Every qawm, every population remembers what their forefathers went through to give them what they have now. So who is our forefather? Imam Hussein Islam. Whether you're Sayyid, non-Sayyid, it doesn't matter because he is your Imam. He is the grandson of your Prophet. He is your forefather. If you're not going to remember what he gave up to get you where you are, you will never understand your roots. And if you don't understand your roots, how will you understand yourself?
Imam Hussein, not only for us, but for the whole of humanity. He did a favor for the whole of humanity. If I can say, even Allah is thankful to Imam Hussein that today Islam, peace, the notion of Islam is alive just because of the sacrifice Imam Hussein gave. And we see that not only the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt are attracted to Imam Hussein, but we have Christians, we have Hindus, we have people from every walk of life, different religions. They see Imam Hussein and they think, this man really is and was something. And his sacrifice shows them that we cannot sit quiet when there is zulm taking place, when there is oppression taking place everywhere in the world, be it a Muslim that is being faced with oppression, be it a Christian who is being faced with oppression. We need to stand up and say no to that oppression. And these are the lessons of basic human rights we learn from Karbala. We learn from Imam Hussein's sacrifice. We learn from Sayyidah Zainab, we learn from Sayyidah Ruqayya Bibi Sakina, we learn from Hazrat Ali Akbar, we learn from all the martyrs, the 72 Shaheed of Karbala, we learn a lesson from each and every single one of them.
What's beautiful about Imam Hussein Islam in particular is that his tragedy shows Islam for what it is.
Exactly, yes.
A way of life and a code for human behavior. Islam itself is not, it should not be seen as religion, it should be seen as nature, how nature has intended mankind to behave, to act, to believe.
Yes.
And the fact that Imam Hussein Islam's tragedy has so many, is all about, human values, yes. How the opposing army had no humanity. Simple things like justice. Water, they just bring back it's entirely human, yes. Picture that's being painted.
Before we as humans, before we as Muslim, before we can even be proper followers of the Ahlul Bayt, proper followers of proper Shias, we have to be proper humans. We have to have those proper values. Anything I'm saying, is it hurting somebody else? Anything I've done, has it hurt somebody? Are you treating the people around you in the right way, in the manner that they are meant to be treated? Are you giving respect to somebody on the level that they are meant to be respected? Are you giving love to everybody around you? Are you remembering your neighbors? Are you, all these things that we might think are very, very small, they are actually a huge part in making us the best, inshallah, followers of the Ahlul Bayt. How can we say, yes, I am the follower of Sayyidah Zainab, and yes, I am the mourner of Imam Hussein, when I don't think about the people around me? When I don't think, are my actions hurting the person in front of me? How? I don't understand, how.
This brings me on to Imam Ali Salam's beautiful hadith that says, someone is either your brother in faith or your equal in humanity. Yes. And, I feel like we as a nation, the Muslim nation, is very exclusive. We like to, huddle together, no, we're Muslim, Jannah is, heaven is for us. And we have a lot of pride. And what we have to realize is that the Ahlul Bayt have taught us that just because somebody does not believe the same as you or is not of equal status as you, it doesn't make them any less valuable. Yes. I mean, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, when Allah said to him, I want you to bring back to the cave something that you feel, or someone, or a creation that you feel is lower than you. Mm-hmm. So Imam Musa alayhi salam, he saw a dog that had rabies, and the dog was diseased. And Prophet Musa alayhi salam thought, shall I bring this creation back to the cave with me? But Prophet Musa didn't. And when he came back, Allah said to him, had you brought that dog back, I would have taken your prophethood away. And this shows us that being humble is so important. And pride is something very easy to fall into. I'm talking about myself. It's very, very, alhamdulillah, Allah has gifted us with, our faith, our health. The biggest thing is azadari.
But when it comes to azadari and the following of Imam Ali, we do have that pride. We do have that. We feel proud that yes, we are those people. But that doesn't mean we see others as lower than us. That's where the humbleness and the down-to-earth nature comes into you. But yes, it is something that we will be proud about forever.
Do you think that? And I'll play devil's advocate here. Do you feel that it's been many years now? Mm-hmm. Karbala happened many, many years ago. Do you feel like maybe during the first 10 days of Muharram, or maybe in Muharram Safar in the 8 days, that maybe we should branch away from Majlis, branch away from Noha, Marsiya, Matam, all these things, all our traditional ways of remembering Imam Hussein salam, and maybe look towards more modern, progressive ways of promoting his message, and maybe not having to attend Majlis. Maybe, if we give out leaflets in his name, or we give blood in his name, or we do these things in Imam Hussein's name. Do you think that there is now less of a need for Majlis and Noha and Matam and these things?
Definitely. I mean, your point, I've got your point. I understand your question, but just to make, I'm sure this is the feeling of every single lover of Hussein. No, we cannot stop doing majalis. No, we cannot stop doing matam. No, we cannot stop crying for Hussein. Never, ever. These, the cultural ways and the traditional ways that we bring azadari, that is something we need to keep continuing. You know, it's Imam Ali saying about culture and the way you do it. You need to continue in the same way. But yes, we can also, for example, in the first 10 days, lots of universities, lots of organizations, they send leaflets out for donating blood in the name of Hussein. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can have different lectures in different places where you have lots of, non-Shias, non-Muslims come in. Yes, we can do that. But side to side. You can't forget that this is the foundation, the basis that can't be shaken. And it never will be.
More specifically, now that mashallah, we have majlises on the internet and very accessible, and we can listen to them on our phone. And it's a huge help if you're in an area where you don't have a masjid, you don't have majlises, there aren't lectures, there isn't azadari at your doorstep, so you need it at your fingertips. Do you think that, now that everybody can listen to it online, is there a need for the Farsh Azhar? Is there something about the Farsh Azhar that we should go specifically to a majlis in the cold, in the dark, after we've been at uni, work, doing these all day, or we've been doing these things all day. Is there a need to go out?
Yeah. I just wanted to say that, obviously, before I answer that we need to remember that this Farsh Azhar and these majlis are not culture and tradition. In fact, they're the teachings of our imams. If you look at hadith from Imam Sajjad, Imam Baqir, we are told exactly how to conduct a majlis for Imam Hussein. We're told to spread a cloth, sit on it, get a zakir, make a mimbar, let him sit, poetry first, then fazail, and then masaib of Imam Hussein, and to cry together, a propagation. Sit together, come together, leave your houses. And these words are in the hadith. Yes. I don't remember the words exactly, but this is the sort of general gist of it, that leave your houses, come together, sit together, and cry for Imam Hussein. So, of course, at any point, wherever you are, if you're remembering Imam Hussein, that's a Farsh Azhar. If you're at home, listening to it through a computer screen, it's still a majlis. Bibi Zainab and Bibi Fatima are still proud that you're listening and you're crying for Imam Hussein. But the way that we're told to do it is to come together. Because when you're together, then there's the emotions and the feelings inside of you, they reach a height. And that's the height that Bibi Fatima looks at and says, yes, this is what I wanted, and this is what I'm getting. And she's proud of us. I mean, I know that we shouldn't be proud, but how can we not be proud that Bibi Fatima is, inshallah, proud of us? Inshallah. The fact that Bibi Fatima is looking at us and saying, these people are fulfilling my wish, how does that not make you proud? That's probably the biggest thing to be proud of.
If someone, just carrying on point, if someone can't go to a majlis, they're in an area where the Imam Barga is, miles and miles away, and it's really late at night. If they can't go to a majlis, that doesn't mean that you're not on a Farsh Azhar. If you put your majlis on your phone, you spread out your own black cloth, you sit on there, you put the majlis on, Bibi will come on that Farsh Azhar too. You've made your own Farsh Azhar. Just because you haven't gone to the Imam Barga, and obviously that's the way to do it. But if you can't, if you're not in extreme circumstances where you're in a desert or somewhere else,
or you're unwell,
you can't do anything, and the Imam Barga is far away, anything where you've made your own Farsh Azhar. Basically, it's still a Farsh Azhar, and Bibi is still there, and Mawla still comes.
So with regards to what you were saying about the different ways that we can use, like leaflets and donating blood in the name of Imam Hussein, of course it's important that we remember that now we're in a time where there's so many means that we can use to spread the message of Imam Hussein,
and we're lucky.
And ultimately that's what we're doing, spreading the message of Imam Hussein. But we need to remember that alhamdulillah there's 12 months in the calendar. And if we spare 2 months and 8 days just for Imam Hussein, to mourn for him and to cry for him, and then it's not enough. And then we can use the rest of the months to use, we don't just need to spread Imam Hussein's message in Muharram. Why can't we use the rest of the months to spread Imam Hussein's message through leaflets, through donating blood, through, getting other people together, protesting and, like on the streets, marching.
Exactly. These 2 months, 8 days should be solely for Azadari.
I know you have a noha about... we keep saying we are Bibi Sayyida's dua, we are her wish. If you could explain that through your noha. That would be great.
Before we recite the Noha, I would like to say that this Noha is in English, and the reason us three, we make sure that in every album of ours we have one Noha specifically in English, so full English Noha.
Okay.
Why? Because there are so many of us as well who do not understand Urdu, Punjabi, Saraiki, Arabic, Farsi, and these languages. Because we are living in the West, we are living in England, where it's a fact that a lot of us have forgotten our own mother tongue, or we don't know it to that extent. Number one, to invoke that emotion and to bring out that the understanding in those children and in those youth, and even in my elder sisters and brothers who do not understand. Then we have, like you said, we have the media now. We are lucky that we have the media where we can take Imam Hussein's message far and wide everywhere. And it's not just the Shias, it's not just the Sunnis, it's not just the Muslims who are listening to the zikr of Ahlul Bayt now. It is everybody.
Very true. Christians,
Jews, Hindus, everybody is listening to this zikr. So it's the best to spread it in the English language, to have at least, one means for them to understand. Inshallah, inshallah.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
This particular Noha begins with a hadith that I would like Adia to.
So the hadith is in the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's telling Bibi Fatima that, O Fatima, every eye shall be weeping on the day of judgment, except the eye that has shed tears for Hussein. For surely that eye shall be laughing and shall be given the glad tidings of the bounties and the comforts of paradise.
On the day that Hussein was born, the Prophet took him in his arms. He looked at him with grace, but tears came rolling down his face. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. Fatima saw this sight that left her in a fright. Father, why do you cry? Tell me, please, tell me why. The Prophet replied, my love, the tyrants will kill Hussein. He'll cry out for help many times, yet they will continue with their crimes. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. The tyrants will leave Hussein thirsty. With horses they will trample his body. His companions will not be spared. On spears they will carry their holy heads. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. After the tragic death of Hussein, the oppressors will parade Zainab. They'll take her through Kufa and Sham, the mighty daughter of my Imam. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Fatima began to weep, left an ache very deep. Father, will I be there? Father, will you be there? The Prophet replied, my dear, Hussein will be all alone. Neither you nor Ali nor Hassan nor me, my daughter, there'll be no one. Sorrow, grief and despair, darkness, pain fill the air. Father, how can this be? Who will cry? Who will plead? The Prophet consoled Fatima and wiped the tears off her face. Oh, my daughter, don't fear. Allah will bring a nation called the Shia. Fatima looked up high, raised her hands in the sky. Those who mourn my Hussein, God keep them safe, give them no pain. We are the prayer of Fatima, daughter of the Prophet of Allah. We are the prayer of Fatima, daughter of the Prophet of Allah. We will never stop remembering Hussein till the last day. You'll hear his name everywhere we go, every step we take. We'll remember in this world why we came as a prayer of Fatima. Our mission we will fulfill from every corner of this world. You will hear Hussein, 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 Hussein. This voice and poetry came from you, Ya Fatima. Adiya Sani Ya Maham. Wish for this, Ya Fatima. When your lovers hear this, Noha Ya Fatima. At that time, may their hearts cry out loud, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.
Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad wa Chifarajum. MashaAllah, this Noha is one of my favorites because it puts into words so eloquently the entire notion of this concept of us being born for the purpose of Azadari. Before I ask you to read a final bayan or final Noha, I wanted to discuss the concept of sacrifice, because obviously this is a program dedicated to Hazrat Muslim Aqeel alayhi salam, and his Shahadat is the day before Eid al-Adha, which is about Qurbani. Eid al-Adha is all about sacrifice. And if we look in history, there is no greater sacrifice than that of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And you know, I think sacrifice only means something when you have something to lose. If you are alone, you're one person, you have no family with you, you have no wealth, you have nothing in this world. And if you're ready to die, it's only natural for you to want an end to your life, because you have nothing holding you back, you have nothing that you care for in this world. And so for you to go for jihad, or for you to sacrifice your life, jihad is jihad, it's an accomplishment, but it doesn't compare to when you have something to lose. And the fact that Imam Hussein alayhi salam lost everything as such on that day, this was what made his qurbani so great.
Yes, and he he lost everything in a way that he lost it for Allah. Everything he was doing, it was for Allah, qurbatan ilallah, on Allah's commands, for Allah. And I think throughout Muharram, something we remember, or something we should think of, is the way in which Imam Hussein gave his sacrifice. We see that he didn't care about anything. You know, he had his 6-month-old baby, Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam, who was with him at the time and who went with him to the land of Karbala, and who himself gave himself, who said, here, Ya Imam Hussein, I am here for you. I am going to say labbaik on your Hal min Nasirin Yansuruna. When Imam asked, he is the one, he is that baby who gave himself, who said, I am present. I will go and fight. I will give my life. Imam Hussein gave this little child thinking about the fact that he is giving in the way of Allah, for Allah. You know, everything was to bring us, brought him closer to Allah, closer, until to the end. Allah said, I am razi with you, Hussein.
Exactly.
I am happy with you. I am satisfied with your qurbani. I am satisfied with your sacrifice.
In fact, Allah said that Imam Hussein's sacrifice was such that Allah said, Bas Hussein, bas. You know, that's it. His sacrifice was that, and he actually said, you know, La ta nafsi mutmainna.
Which is in Surah Fajr of the Holy Quran. Irji'i ila rabbika radiyatan mardiya. And he says that in that surah it states that Allah is razi with you. Who is he? Who is Allah razi with? Imam Hussein. Why is he razi with Imam Hussein? Because he only had Allah. He could only see Allah in front of his eyes, in front of the pains in Karbala, the bodies, the trampled bodies, the blood in Karbala, yet he could see the sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And there's a final issue I want to just try and work through before we end the show, is that Imam Hussein alayhi salam was so dear to Allah. So why is it that all of this happened? You know, if Imam Hussein had asked Allah for help, or for this not to have happened to his child, his brother, his companion, Allah loved Imam Hussein alayhi salam so much, He wouldn't turn him down. So why is it that this tragedy is?
Well, this is coming back to just for a moment to think about ourselves in our lives, and how it's known, hadiths have said that the closest of you will be tested by Allah, and the closest of you will go through pains. You know, you see the most pious people and the difficulties and the atrocities that they face in the day-to-day life is tragic. Yet they do not think, why is Allah doing this to me? Why has Allah made me go through all of this? Why have I lost so and so? Why have I faced such and such in my life? No, they don't, because they know that Allah wants this. There is a reason behind everything that happens in this life. There is a reason behind every single sacrifice that Allah has asked for. You know, and going back to the most closest of us who will be tested by Allah and who will be faced, it is a hadith that a mu'min faces difficulties. If a mu'min faces difficulties and to such an extent, they need to be able to forget everything at that point and not for a second think, but why didn't Allah help us? Now, Imam Hussein's sacrifice is nothing. I mean, our pain is nothing compared to Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein's sacrifice and Imam Hussein's imtihan, his atrocities, and Sayyidah Zainab's atrocities was of a different level. Something Allah had written in history so that batil could come in front of everybody. Haqq and batil. There is a truth and there is a falsehood. Allah showed through Karbala, this is truth, this is falsehood. If you want to succeed in your life, follow the path of the true people, which is the Ahlul Bayt, who was represented by Imam Hussein in Karbala. If you go anywhere else, that is Yazid. That is a falsehood.
And also from the tragedy of Karbala, as in after it happened, now for us, it's a source of strength. So anything that happens in our life, we always refer back to Karbala. If you lose your brother, we compare that. Oh, me losing my brother is nothing like Bibi Zainab losing her brother. If we lose anyone, if we're far away from our brother, we remember Bibi Sughra salam alayha and Hazrat Ali Akbar alayhi salam. If we lose if a mother loses a young baby of hers, you remember Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam. We learn so much from it, and we get so much strength from it, that it's just like Karbala is, I just don't even have words to explain.
This is a small issue that I thought of today, and before I ask you to read one of my favorite nohas, there's two types of pain. There's one pain that your body, your human side goes through, and there's another pain your soul goes through. And Allah loves us so much that He puts us our human side through pain in this world, to save our souls from the pain in the next world. And because I was really struggling with this, if Allah loves us, then why does He let us suffer? And it's because Allah's saving us from the suffering there. We don't have the foresight to see what's going to happen to us there, but Allah's protecting us from that. But in this world, obviously we're human. Do you have a noha, perhaps that could help give us strength just to get through the difficult things that will inevitably occur in life, because we do keep relation with the Ahlul Bayt?
Definitely, inshallah. We will recite the Noha, but before that, I just have a little message for all those viewers relating to, Sarah, what you have just said about how we face difficulties in our life in this world. Everybody does. Everybody has their own share of difficulty, which for us, your difficulty for me might not be difficulty. I might not understand it, but for you it is the difficulty. My difficulty is my difficulty. No one else can relate to it. But Allah only puts that much difficulty on someone that He knows they can bear. And it is a test. It is a test to see how sabr, how patient is this follower and believer of mine going to be in the time of his most difficult period in life. And we are lucky as the followers of Ahlul Bayt that we have so many people that we can relate to, not relate to exactly, but we can think of and get that strength to go through our day-to-day life. Like Sanya just mentioned about when we lose somebody, same way we can get that strength. And we should always remember that no matter what happens in our life, it is nothing compared to what Sayyidah Zainab, salamullah alayha, had to go through. Has to go through still today. It hasn't stopped. The enemies have not stopped, and they never will stop. They will continue until Imam Zamana, Ajallahu Ta'ala Faraja, comes back to get his inqilab, his revenge of everything that has happened in Karbala, happening nowadays. Everything, He will come. It's going to continue until its peak reaches then. So we should always remember that this is that Allah is He's blessing us with an opportunity to come closer to Him every time we are in a trouble. So inshallah, this Noha is going to be a source of strength for all of those people who are in any sort of difficulty, worry, parishani, aaj ke dinon mein jo bhi hai, bimar, anything like that. Inshallah, azadar jahan pe bhi azadar hain, har jagah, Pakistan, Bahrain, Syria, जिस जहाँ भी अज़ादार हैं जो मारे जा रहे हैं, उनके लिए इंशाअल्लाह ये कलाम खुसूसी उनके लिए। बर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलावत
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद वअज्जिल फरजहुम।
वादा है सकीना का ए शह के अज़ादारों, वादा है सकीना का ऐ शह के अज़ादारों, तुम मेरा वास्ता देकर मेरे अम्मू को बुलाना, मेरे बाबा के अज़ादार परेशान न हो, 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 तुम्हें हर गम से मुसीबत से बचा लाएंगे, दो मेरा वास्ता अब्बास चले आएंगे। میرا واسطہ عباس چلے آئیں گے. ہے مددگار علمدار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. میرے امو کا علم گھر میں سجائے رکھنا, میرے امو کا علم گھر میں سجائے رکھنا, ہاں صدا کرب و بلا دل میں بسائے رکھنا, ہاں صدا کرب و بلا دل میں بسائے رکھنا. میں دعا کرتی ہوں 100 بار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. میرے امو میرے بابا کا ہے سایہ تم پر, تا قیامت رہے رحمت یہ خدایا تم پر, تا قیامت رہے رحمت یہ خدایا تم پر. غم سرور کے طلبگار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. جو اٹھاتے ہیں صدا میرے چچا کا پرچم, جو اٹھاتے ہیں صدا میرے چچا کا پرچم, جو بھی کرتا ہے جہاں میرے پدر کا ماتم, جو بھی کرتا ہے جہاں میرے پدر کا ماتم. میرے امو کے وفادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. میرے بھیا علی اکبر کا ہے صدقہ جو جواں, ان کو ملتی ہے خدا اور محمد کی اما, ان کو ملتی ہے خدا اور محمد کی اما. ہو اگر برسر پیکار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. جو نہیں صاحب اولاد سنے وہ بہنیں, جو نہیں صاحب اولاد سنے وہ بہنیں, واسطہ اصغر بے شیر کا دے کر مانگے, واسطہ اصغر بے شیر کا دے کر مانگے. بس دعا مانگے دل افگار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. آنچ آئے نہ کبھی مجلس و ماتم پہ سنو, آنچ آئے نہ کبھی مجلس و ماتم پہ سنو, تم یزیدوں کے لیے آہنی دیوار بنو, تم یزیدوں کے لیے آہنی دیوار بنو. ہوگا اللہ مددگار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. And this verse is dedicated to all the shaheed. جو عزادار سرے راہ خدا قتل ہوئے, چادر فاطمہ زہرا کے ہے ان پر سائے, چادر فاطمہ زہرا کے ہے ان پر سائے. یہ شہیدی کے ہے انصار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. ادی آسانی اما ہم پہ عطائے زہرا, کاش صفدر یہ کہیں حشر میں خود معصومہ, کاش صفدر یہ کہیں حشر میں خود معصومہ. تیرے مقبول ہے اشعار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو, میرے بابا کے عزادار پریشان نہ ہو. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل فرجہم.